should we sit or how should we do this? Um, um, these are very nice pillows. Do you say pillows or cushions?
There are both actually.
And bed linen.
Yes, bed linen and pillows to like you can have in your sofa or whatever.
Let's sit. Let's sit. Oh, I love this. This is my favorite. I just decided this is my favorite.
Okay.
Which one is yours?
I think this is my favorite. This girl. But this
Why?
because she represents the couture in Paris for me, and that's I don't know. It's very me.
And who are you?
I'm Lovisa Burfitt, and I work mostly with illustration and art, and yeah, that's what I do.
And but you don't live here in Stockholm, do you?
No, I live in the south of France, outside Aix-en-Provence. I've been living in Paris for many years.
So how French are you?
I'm adapting. I'm using the oh la la a lot,
I want to do that as well.
and also the French sighing. Oh la la. You can also do like it depends on the intonation. Yeah.
Oh, good, good, good. So, but what's this? The things that we're seeing now. What's this?
It's this collection I made together with Hemtex, and the theme is springtime in Paris, and I named the collection Paris Please. And now with the events that has happened, I'm trying to see it as an homage to Paris and the Parisians. Because also after what you hear on the news now is like the Parisians are actually talking about how important it is to live on as usual, to not get scared. Of course it's awful and very scary what happened, and actually it happened actually on one of the streets I used to live in. So it's
Yeah, 100 and almost 150 people have been killed. Did you know anyone?
no, I didn't.
Yeah, almost every French I know has known someone that's got affected. But how long are you here in Sweden, or how often do you come to Sweden?
I come a few times a year, mostly for work, but I have my family here, and now I'm just staying for 2 days.
And then you're going back to Aix-en-Provence,
Yes.
and you're going to do the ooh la la.
And then I go back and I do my oh la la and all that, yeah.
So how are things doing for Lovisa Burfitt? You're focusing on illustrations now. You did a fashion line like ages ago. That's when I met you first, I think.
Yeah, I'm focusing on the drawings, which I've always been working parallel with the clothing and the drawing. And then I just decided to kind of make a choice because, yeah, it just came natural. And also the way I'm living now, I live in the countryside in a house, and it suits me better than.
Do you have cats?
Yes, I do, and dogs.
Good, good, yeah. Very, very French or countryside living. We need to talk about Scandinavian design as well. I mean, you are of Swedish origin, aren't you?
Yes, I was born in Australia, so my father is Australian and my mother is Swedish. But yeah, I feel Swedish.
You feel Swedish. What about Scandinavian design or Swedish design? Do you think it's relevant to talk about Scandinavian design today, 2015?
I actually do. I remember when I lived here, I didn't think it was so relevant because as a designer, the journalists often tend to put you in a box, sort of, and like this is what we want to promote for abroad. But now I've been living away from Sweden for about 13 years, and I realize I can see it so clearly. When you're abroad, you see it's like I see Sweden. Of course, that's what I see. The country in Scandinavia that I see is Sweden, and when you see it with your outside eyes, you can see there's a special style, and I think it has to do with our climate. So I do think it's relevant. The style for me is very light. We need light because we are lacking light.
Yeah, November. Fuck November.
Low. Yeah, but this November is quite lucky, isn't it? This morning was sunny. We had 14 degrees. Usually November in Stockholm is more like slush. Yeah. So this is quite lucky. But otherwise, I think it's like we need the light, and I think that's what the light wood, the light textile fabrics, and also light, whereas in candles and lamps and all that, I think for me it's quite relevant. Yeah. And also when you talk to French, for them it's a style. I really think so.
Well, Lovisa, thanks for sharing. Our 3 minutes are up, and I need to move on. And you need to start promoting your things. It's very nice. 20 pieces, I understand. Lots of things.
Yeah, it's quite a few things. Both little boxes and porcelain, tableware.
I'm gonna steal the pillow or cushion behind you.
Nobody's gonna notice. No. Do it.
Bye. Hi Anna, how are you today?
I'm fine today.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's a wonderful Thursday, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's
Or-
a little bit too early for me. Or yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah,
And also November, kind of shitty November.
yeah, a little bit too rainy, too early. But now we're here. Got some coffee and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I got some coffee too. So, who are you, Anna?
I'm a designer in a design group called Front, based here in Stockholm.
You're like the big stars of Swedish design, aren't you? Do you think you are big stars of Swedish design?
No, it doesn't feel like that at all. But that's a compliment.
It is a compliment. I think you are the big stars of Swedish design. I mean, you should be like glamour queens, the three of you. Do you feel like glamour queens?
Wow. No, today is not a glamorous day, is it? When it's like rainy and November, but I don't think to be. I don't think that's really connected to be a designer, to be a glamour queen. But I think that's maybe people from the outside. When you actually work with design, it's a lot of hard work.
I think you're pretty glamorous anyway, Anna.
Oh, thank you. Mm.
I'm really proud that we have a front design group in Sweden. I think you're doing marvelous and fantastic work. But we're not here to talk about what I think about what you do. Why are we here?
We're here to look at the new wallpaper collection we made. Yeah.
So something fell on the floor, so we should be taking this carefully. So this is the wallpaper collection, or part of it?
Sorry?
This is part of it, yeah.
Yes, part of it. Yeah. Don't ask me exactly how many patterns there are, but it's based on the same concept, all of them. So, yeah, it was a challenge. It was a fun project and a challenge. We haven't worked with wallpapers before, and it's slightly different. We work with products, and here is more patterns. So that was really, it was good.
How do you? I mean, you talked about when you introduced the concept, you were going through like archives and files, old files of like millions and millions on wallpaper. Is it difficult to like make a new wallpaper? How do you make it? How do you like, how, on a scale, how difficult is it to make something new?
I think it's always good to know about the history and to know what's been done. And I think it's difficult to make something completely new, but I think you can make something that refer to its time that we are in now. I mean, you wouldn't do a wallpaper in the same way as you did 200 years ago. But it's good to know about the history, and you can, I think it's very interesting when you can refer to that you can feel a connection to that. But to make something, what is new? I mean, I think it's a mix between things that makes something new.
And this collection, it's a lot about texture, is it?
Yes, we were working a lot about, with texture. We went back to the paper and started to work with the paper and cut out different patterns and sort of build three-dimensional sculptures that we then made sketches of. So that was, in a way, the paper in itself was our inspiration, and we wanted to create something. We want to create something around the white color, in a way, to work with shadows and the light, and see what you could do with that, and different small details and like a gradient. Yeah.
So the paper, the wallpaper you have in your hand is like a weaving technique, basically.
Yes, it is. So So I think we always we think it's a good thing to always, when you start a project, to go back into history and see what could be interesting and do research. So we actually we spent quite a lot of time at the Victoria and Albert and looked at old wallpapers. That was really nice. And I think even though you don't use it exactly, it's good to have it in the back of your mind.
But is it relevant to talk about Swedish design or Scandinavian design today? I mean, is it still accurate?
We never thought it is. Then we have made a lot of projects, and then when we've been exhibiting abroad, people are always referring like, "Oh, I can see you are from Sweden. That you have a different approach to design and the things you do and so on." The design world is very international. It's a very international scene. So in a way, it's not important at all. But I think it's always important to see what sort of surroundings you have, what sort of environment you have. And I think something that is fantastic in Sweden is that we have quite a big production in Sweden, which makes it possible for a lot of designers to work and to work here. And other countries don't have a production at all, and then they have to work in a different way. So of course, but aesthetically, I don't think it's interesting like that. But in a way, when I saw Jaime present his wallpapers, I can see that when I try to look at, like, have a distance. I mean, we've been working with the light colors, and I mean, the light is very important for us, and so maybe we have a little bit of a different approach. I don't know. It's tricky to see it when you're sort of inside, but I just know that a lot of people have commented when we go abroad.
Well, thank you for sharing. I'm going to leave you off. Our 3 minutes are up. You only have 3 minutes. I think the collection is fantastic. I think you're going to get huge success in Sweden, especially with the light colors and the textures of things. And I think you're really on top of things. Again, I'm not surprised. So I'm going to say goodbye now. Have a good Thursday. Bye.